If for nothing else, the crowd I saw this movie with last night, they're pretty fun. Because they were all pretty much a bunch of stoners. So it was quite the rowdy movie-going experience. Cocaine Bear. So Cocaine Bear is directed by Elizabeth Banks, which, not gonna lie, not a great track record in terms of directing. She is now 0 for 3 in my book. This movie is actually based somewhat off of true events, believe it or not. It takes place in 1985. Through a series of events, a bunch of cocaine has spread throughout a forest in Georgia, where a wild black bear has ingested quite a bit of it. So now this bear is high as a kite and is gonna go on a rampage, after a bunch of characters you don't care about. I really mean that. I mean, this movie has a good cast. You got Kerry Russell, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Alden Ehrenreich, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, the late Ray Liotta, otherwise established names in Hollywood. And I didn't care about a single one of their characters. I mean, Kerry Russell is more or less the main character if I had to choose. She plays the mom of this teenage girl who goes to the forest with her friend one day and they get lost and they're attacked by the bear, which you would think, yeah, they would not realistically live through that situation. But Kerry Russell was fine enough. O'Shea Jackson Jr. was actually pretty good because he's a really good actor. Ray Liotta, rest in peace, he had some pretty good moments. But from the get-go, this movie starts off and it's immediately really choppy. I mean, it goes from character to character, like all these characters are unrelated, doing their own things. They all end up in the forest, but the transitions, there are no transitions between these stories. You're like, okay, so this character's doing their thing, and then it cuts to someone else, and you're like, all right, they're doing their thing. And you would think, yeah, that's how it should work, but it's executed in a way that didn't. I guess the editing didn't really give me enough time to start caring about the characters. And I get that this isn't like a character study movie or anything. But it doesn't have to be. I'm not saying this has to be the movie Joker, but at least make me care about the characters a little. So if someone dies, I can be like, oh, that sucks. Yeah, that never happened with me. I did start caring about Kerry Russell and the kids a little bit at one point, but I think by then it was too late. I mean, this movie is like a thriller comedy. I guess that's how I would describe it. I barely laughed throughout the whole thing. Most of the humor didn't land with me. Because it was pretty much stoner humor. Like, the big mistake I made going into this was seeing this movie sober. This is a movie you're not supposed to watch sober. I can guarantee you that. Also, I'm sure the crowd I saw this movie with last night can vouch for that. I mean, there was a point where I saw a puff of smoke come from somewhere in the crowd, so there you go. They had a great time. That being said, there were some points where I was like, alright, this movie is ridiculous and I'm having fun with the ridiculousness of it. I mean, the bear's doing crazy things, like falling asleep and just plopping down on Alden Ehrenreich. That was funny. I will say though that bear is vicious. We all know that bears are dangerous as they are in real life and wildlife. So what would one be like if it were hooked up on blow? Pretty fucking scary. I did like seeing that. Like, some of the kills in this movie, they are pretty freaking brutal. Like, I can see this movie being a kill count movie. Like on Dead Meat, I can see James A. Janice doing a kill count for this movie. That would be pretty entertaining to watch. I don't know if it's gonna happen because I would classify this movie more as a comedy than any sort of horror or thriller. But there are some bodies to be counted in this movie. So if you like movies that are just a good bloodbath, here you go, you'll enjoy this one. But me personally, I guess I just prefer my movies to be a little more clever. I think this movie just exists. I mean, I know Elizabeth Banks said that this movie exists to like reflect the chaos of the world that's going on right now, which I don't see at all in this movie, honestly. I see this movie like it just exists to see a high wild bear go on a rampage and kill a bunch of people we don't care about. It's a bloodbath movie with mindless entertainment. So it's fun in that sense, but I don't see myself watching this movie ever again. Like, I can see this movie being on in the background at a party, you know, like a college party where everyone's just drinking and having a good time. No one's actually sitting down and watching the movie, you know? It's not meant to be taken seriously, and that's that. I will say the score was pretty good though. Mark Mothersbaugh did the score. And this movie taking place in the 80s, it has some of that synth in there, from what I remember, because honestly, I don't remember a whole lot of the score. I saw this movie last night, and I don't remember the music at all. Like, at all. So I don't know what that says about it. But of course, that's not like it's the point of the movie, like, whoa, the music in Cocaine Bear, that's what you remember from it. No, you remember the bloodbath, if anything. Even the CGI in the bear, yeah, it looked like obvious CGI. It wasn't really good. Come on, if you're gonna make a CG animal, then get Jon Favreau's team on this shit. I mean, I didn't really care for his version of The Lion King, but you gotta admit, those animals looked awesome. They looked real. The visual effects for the bear in this movie, they didn't look as bad as the dog in Call of the Wild a couple years ago, but not as good as The Lion King, so there's that. There's your balance, there's your metric. So in the end, Cocaine Bear, honestly, I'm not really sure why I even saw this movie. Like I said, it would be a good party movie, it's good ambiance for that environment. You don't give a shit about any of the characters here. I mean, the acting is fine, but the acting's not the problem. The problem was the direction and the writing, because the script in this movie I wouldn't say is that good. I mean, some of the characters in this movie are just complete morons. Like, I would not say that that park ranger is certified to be working that job. But if you can just turn off your brain with the help of something, then I'm sure you can enjoy this one. For Cocaine Bear, I will say, wait until you can stream this movie online. So, Cocaine Bear, have you seen it? What are your thoughts on it? And what's a good movie where a wild animal is on the loose and it's after us and so we have to escape and survive? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, Megan is now streaming on Peacock, so I'm gonna go watch that. Man, that did not take long. Peace!